Fala pessoal, tudo bem com vocês, gente? Como é que vocês estão? Gente, a gente vai jogar mais um episódio aqui de Final Fantasy XVI com vocês aqui na história. A gente vai dar continuidade ao nosso legado aqui e tal. E pessoal, no último episódio a gente viu o que aconteceu aqui no lugar da pousada aqui da Marta e tal. E a gente foi vir ver o que aconteceu e tal no último episódio. Agora a gente vai voltar pro esconderijo, tá bom? Já prepararam o teu almoço? Então, simbora. Vamos nessa. Aqui com vocês estamos com Clive Rosfield, tá? E a gente agora vai voltar pro nosso esconderijo, beleza? Antes da gente voltar pro esconderijo, tô dando aquela sequência de episódio aqui com vocês e tal. Eu vou dar um save no jogo, né? Aqui. Pronto. Salvado. Agora a gente vai voltar. Voltar não. Voltar pra. A gente vai agora pro esconderijo, tá? Vamos voltar pro esconderijo pra continuar a história. A história ela é bem longa e eu tô gravando assim mais de boa. Tranquilo aqui com vocês e tal, tá?
Gav should be back by now.
I hear there's trouble in Rosaria.
Ó o Gav.
Ah, Clive! How I've missed that scowl.
Where's my report?
What, no kind words for your old pal Gav?
If it's kind words you're after, you're fishing in the wrong barrel. Now sit down, you fool.
So, you remember how quick the Empire was to occupy the Dominion after the fall of Drake's head? And how pissed off all the other nations were that they didn't think to do it first?
Half a century of independence gone at the whim of a madman. So much for their bloody treaty.
Clearly, the promise of unblighted land and the world's supply of crystals was too much for his radiance to resist. And now the Republic's finally decided to follow suit, using liberation as an excuse to declare war on Sambrek. Lined up right outside the Dominion's gates as we speak, looking to starve the Imperials into submission.
And now all eyes are on the Strait of Author.
Well, the two nations beat their shields. The rest sharpen their daggers, ready to set upon the war-weary victor. They'll never see us coming. It's time we moved on the Mother Crystals. Four Mother Crystals remain in Storm and Ash. Drake's Breath near Ironhome. Drake's Fang in Dhalmekia. Drake's Spine in Waloed. And Drake's Tail here in the Crystalline Dominion.
With the bulk of the Republican army marching to Twinside, Drake's Fang will be left exposed.
That is exactly the move Kupka would anticipate. And if there is anything these past 5 years have taught us, is that he loves his traps. There is one place, however, where nobody will be expecting us to go.
Drake's Breath.
There's a shitload of sea between us and it, and I've never been much of a swimmer.
I have an acquaintance in Port Isolde who may be able to help.
Who's that then?
My uncle, Byron Rosfield.
Lord Byron Rosfield of the Seven High Houses, the trade magnate with holdings in over 100 cities. Wait, Rosfield. And you're a Rosfield, of course.
My uncle's name gave him his start in the world, but it was his acumen which earned him his fortune, along with a handsome fleet of ships.
Well, it's said then. What are we waiting for, eh? Huh?
A bancada do alto está aberta. Novos recursos. Os seguintes recursos dos esconderijos estão disponíveis agora. Relatório de aliados, sussurro do benfeitor e quadro de caçada. Todos estão localizados perto do Otto no refeitório. Ih, meu, nossa senhora, vocês não sabem. Já tô.
What are we waiting for, indeed?
Como eu tinha perdido 1 hora de gravação, eu vou tá gravando 6 horas de gravação, entendeu? Viagem pro penhasco do canto do Falcão. Beleza. E aqui a gente tem coisas novas, como o relatório de aliados, sussurro do benfeitor e o quadro de caçada. A gente pode dar uma olhada. Vocês querem dar uma olhada? Vamos dar uma olhada então, né? Vamos lá ver. Ah, marcações. Dá pra marcar. Não sabia. Só aprendi agora. Beleza, né? Senhora, eu preciso dar uma alongada, cara. Ai, ai. Olha o néctar. Clive, achei você, Cubo. Eu te procurei por toda parte. O que foi, Nectar? Isso é o que houve, Cubo.
The hunt board.
Quadro de
Where
caçada.
the curse breakers post sightings of particularly fearsome beasts. Those that might pose a threat to our operations if they were left to roam free. Just because they can't be dealt with when they're spotted, doesn't mean they can't be dealt with later. Was that what you wanted to know? Right. Well, leaving your mightiness aside for the moment, the people of Valisthea are going through a lot already. What with the blight and the war, the last thing they need is ungodly fiends terrorizing them on top of everything else. So if the curse breakers are too busy to help, then perhaps I can. Or at least I can try.
Ok. Deixa eu ver o quadro de caça. Cara, é muita informação, cara. O quadro de caça. O quadro de caça. Relatos de monstros aterrorizando o campo estão divulgados no quadro de caça na esperança de que algum herói valente como Clive se prontifique a caçar e matar essas ameaças notórias. Que são essas ameaças aqui, entendi. Podemos perguntar como o Nectar também está e tudo mais. Mas eu acho que não vou perguntar isso, senão eu vou ficar muito tempo. Temos uma parada com a Desire.
Oh, Clive! Welcome to the Patron's Whisper.
The Patron's Whisper? Does that mean someone else is taking care of our friend's donations?
Oh no, that's still me. It's just Karen has her toll, Blackthorn has his hammer. I thought a new name might liven things up. I still catalogue every item that arrives, in addition to setting aside those tokens of appreciation the sender has specified are to be presented to you personally. Would you like to see if we have any?
Sim, por favor. Escute o sussurro do benfeitor.
Here's everything we've received and everything promised.
Concluir missões secundárias aumenta o renome do Clive, inspirando benfeitores anônimos dos continentes gêmeos a fazerem doações em dinheiro ou itens para a causa dele. Fale com o Daisere no sussurro do benfeitor, no refeitório do esconderijo para ver o nível do renome atual e aceitar as doações disponíveis. Tá. Caraca, isso aqui ganha muito pontos de habilidade. Ah, aceitar doação. Eu quero.
You earned this.
Obrigado. Aí tem que aumentar
Sorry,
o
but you're
renome
not quite there yet.
para receber as doações. Tem esse anel do Berserk ali. Interessante.
All done?
E você, Gaut?
Clive,
Veja os relatórios de aliados.
here you go.
Ah, tá,
Always
entendi.
something in there.
Ok. Beleza. Bom, pessoal, vamos agora pro lugar, né? Vamos pro mapa mundi e vamos pra lá. É pra cá que a gente tem que ir, né? Beleza. As outras regiões estão bloqueadas, né? Isso que eu ia falar. Cara, olha o tamanho desse mapa, velho. Nossa, velho. O jogo é gigante. Eu achando que o jogo que não fosse tão gigante assim. Entendeu? Eu não achava que a história fosse tão longa assim. Eu acredito que a gente só vai terminar Final Fantasy XVI no final do mês. Cada episódio. Porque cada episódio é 1 hora, entendeu? Dependendo do meu desempenho também.
Do you think it was wise to leave, Gav? He didn't seem pleased.
I needed his eyes and nose in Dhalmekia. I'm not about to let Kupka take us unawares. Besides, he has a knack for that sort of thing.
That he does.
And wasn't it Sid who said that matters such as these are best left to dominance? Especially should one of his beloved opportunities to grow and change present itself.
I always knew that I would return one day. Return to Ironhome.
For what?
After learning the truth, you were given the chance to face your past. If I am to continue at your side, I must do the same.
We will face it together then.
To the end.
Come on.
Linhagens. Vambora.
How far do you think your mother's reach extends? Will we find the same tragedy in the south as we did at Martha's Rest?
More than likely. Which is why we should hurry. There are still many settlements between here and Port Isolde. We visit as many as we can and hear their stories. Starting with the village of Amber.
Eu posso pegar isso aqui e cair fora? Licença, obrigado, tchau. Agora é só correr até lá. Até a gente chegar lá no nosso objetivo. A gente tem que chegar até o Amber, beleza. Com licença, tô coletando um item. Muito obrigado. 5 moedas de ouro. Meu Deus, eu não vi vocês aí. Eu nem percebi, cara. Destino da próxima missão.
Mockery of justice is what it is. Lord Elwyn would never have stood for this.
Quiet, you! I think we're loyalists.
Jill, look.
Rosaria must be cleansed of the stain which befouls her. that she might rise once again from the ashes to welcome a new dawn. 'Twould be a pity to make examples of you all, for the transgressions of but a handful.
Of course, your lordship. You shall have our full cooperation.
What business could the Black Shields have in a village this small? There's barely room to hide a bearer.
Then they must be here for something else.
You fancy dancing a gallows jig like the miller's son?
All right, I heard you the first.
Falar com o jovem aqui.
Excuse me, but what was all that about earlier?
You haven't heard? Someone's been stirring up trouble. There have been attacks on the garrison, supplies stolen. They even say a Black Shield was murdered. The Empire wants answers, and what the Empire wants, the Empire gets.
Don't they just?
Keep your ears open, eh? The Black Shields will pay good coin for information on the culprits.
Entendi,
You have
beleza.
to be dull as a sack of stones to think you could take on the Empire.
You seen them, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
The Black Shields. Just now. You seen them, didn't you? At least I think there was a Black Shield. Can't say I ever saw one before.
Was this the first time they visited the village?
But what do you think? Amber's the arse end of nowhere. And they thought we might be harbouring firebrands. Huh. If only we were. I might have turned them in and become a Black Shield myself.
You don't think these firebrands the Empire is looking for could be us, do you?
I don't know,
How'd you get it?
but we need to find out.
Nossa senhora, eu tô me espreguiçando aqui, velho. Não acho que a cadeira seja ruim, sabe? É tipo assim, no meu dia a dia, sem gravar, eu sinto normal. Eu não sei por que na gravação parece que eu fico. Parece que dói meu corpo, entendeu? Não sei por que, cara. Calma aí. Fale com algumas pessoas da região. Tá bom. Só tava me espreguiçando um pouco, beleza? Aí é pra lá.
There'll be none left to help with the harvest.
Greetings, friend. We are travelers.
I know that. What do you want?
We couldn't help noticing those Imperial soldiers who were here earlier.
Don't you go telling these strangers a thing. I speak for the people of this village, and we have nothing more to say to you. You are to leave Amber and never come back.
May I at least ask why?
I don't know who you are or what brings you here, but your presence puts us all in grave danger. The Empire is a harsh master. Its demands are great, and its justice swift. But as long as we keep our heads down and pay our tributes, we are left alone. Some might call it submission. But if it will spare my people the Viceroy's wrath, then I will gladly submit. This village will not become another East Pool.
É o presidente do Lago Leste. É, eu entendo ele. O que aconteceu lá foi um caos mesmo. Tipo, ele não vai cometer o mesmo erro que aconteceu na última vez.
In the mistaken belief that if they cooperate, my mother will show them mercy.
Obedience bought with fear.
Are you all right?
Sorry, It's nothing. We still don't know who the Black Shields are looking for.
Well, whoever they are, the Imperials deem them worth pursuing to the back of beyond. But other than Martha, who else in Rosaria would have the courage to stand against the Empire? A new ally would certainly be welcome. Can we find them before the Imperials do? Perhaps the next village will yield more answers.
Perhaps.
É, a gente tá em maus tempos aqui, né? A gente tem que achar um outro vilarejo que poderia nos ajudar, digamos assim, né? Ah, o Lago Leste era aqui, tá vendo? Eles se mudaram pra cá. Eu não julgo o prefeito, sabe? Ele tá só protegendo o povo dele.
And directly into the path of whoever or whatever lurks here.
E que é isso? Caçador de decaído?
We're not alone. What do you think is waking them? The mother crystals collapse?
I have an idea. You're not going to like it.
Vem cá, bate estaca. Já era, tempestade. Os poderes de Ifrit, eles estão mais fortes no caso, por causa dos aprimoramentos que eu fiz neles. Não posso esquecer disso também, né? Olha lá os escudos pretos.
More of my mother's men.
Tempestade. Aí, subi de nível. Nível 25. Agora eu estou no nível 25, beleza. Tem mais um item aqui. Tá bom. Ai, eu não tô nem falando muito porque eu tô bem relaxado, tô bem tranquilo, sabe? Fogo fato! Ignição, toma! Ótimo, beleza. Vamos descer até a gente chegar no Porto Isolde, né? Até chegamos no Porto Isolde. Escudo preto. Vamos nessa. E ataquei errado. Espada de choque. Beleza. E agora a gente tem que dar a volta aqui, né? Pô, pera aí. Tá certo isso aí? É, tem que dar a volta. Eu tenho que vir pra cá. Tem uma descida pra cá. Beleza. Tem mais um item ali. Ô, saco, hein? Já foi. Agora a gente vai vir pra cá. E que é esse sangue aqui?
Blood, Clive.
And still wet.
You were told to stay in your homes.
The Black Shields.
You know who we are. And still, you would bear your steel. Why then, we owe you our thanks. You have saved us the trouble of an interrogation. To dwell in darkness, that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. On these, our swords we swear.
Say that again.
Então vambora.
I'll show you a true sword to Rosaria.
Quer brigar então? Vambora. Dispara de relâmpago. Instante. Peguei missão. Finalizado. E nem deu Pascares. Tô falando que nem velho agora, porque isso é gíria do meu pai. Ele fala assim, não dá nem Pascares. Não mexendo a mão, as cáries do dente. Eu não tenho cárie, eu escovo os dentes todo dia. Tô brincando. Não, tô falando sério. Deixa pra lá, esquece que eu falei.
Tell me what I want to the end will be swift. Who are you looking for?
Why, you. We come bearing a message. Your friends have been found. The branded you freed from our camps. They await you in Ordeal. Guardians of the Flame.
Those are Old Hill's gates.
Then we hurry.
Eles estão em perigos. Vamos, a gente tem que ajudar eles. Mas antes eu quero pegar o Winter. Não vai mudar, não vai desencadear coisa ruim não. Peguei, agora eu tô indo. Que isso, cara? Era pra abrir a porta.
Find something, boy. Death.
Found her.
This was my mother's doing.
But why? Why would anyone?
I don't know. I never truly understood her. But this...
Oh, Clive.
I will learn what madness drives her, and I will end it. We should go.
Yes.
We can't leave them here like this.
We won't. But if the
Caraca,
Black
mano.
Shields have made it this far south, they may already be in Port Isolde.
Que horrível, mano. Pra que fazer isso com as pessoas? Eles não fizeram nada, velho. É foda, né? Vamos nessa. Eu só tô vendo cadáver, irmão. Que horrível, mano.
We're approaching Buick Bridge. Though I doubt the Empire would let us cross over to Rosalith.
Ah, mas eu abro a força, não tem problema não.
They're all Rosarian.
But this is their home.
Don't go thinking you'll find refuge in the houses outside Port Isolde. The place is a wretched hive of thieves and blackguards.
A gente já tem informação de como é o lugar, mais ou menos. Cara, podia ter um cavalo, né, pra andar por aí. Ou um dodo, né? Aquele dodô lá de montaria. Olha o caranguejo. Ai, ai.
The Lazarus. What happened to this place?
My mother happened. The nobles who lived here didn't stand a chance. Let's hope my uncle fared better.
Caraca. Mas, gente, esse soro que está batendo é por conta do ar-condicionado, entendeu?
That's the main gate. And it looks like we're not the only ones hoping to get in.
Let us pass! My children are starving!
Have mercy!
Voice-ridden dogs they are! You can't ignore us forever!
Let us in, or we'll die on your doorstep!
Better out there than in here!
More than enough for
Fuck off! And the chinless bastards! Those crystals belong to us all! I said, away with you, filth! Back to your sties! Cut you down where you stand! Destroy it!
No chance of slipping through unnoticed. We'll need to find another way in. I thought we might be able to reason with the guards. Or at least bribe them.
I suspect everyone in that crowd thought the same. Was that the only way in?
Officially, yes. Strictly speaking, no. My uncle once told me that the nobles had tunnels built, so that they could visit town without having to walk amongst the rabble. The Lazarus. We'll find our way into the city there.
If you're sure. The entire place looked abandoned. Do you think it's safe?
As long as it is abandoned.
Se estiver abandonado, melhor, né? Porque é como o Cid falou. A gente vai nos piores lugares.
Single black shield since Old Hill.
Maybe they found who they were looking for.
Pegar impulso. Que Que isso? A mulher corre mais do que eu. Que atletismo é esse? Me dá esse poder. E parou de correr. Eu gostei quando ela tava correndo, céu. Meu, ó a velocidade dela. Nossa. Deixa eu abrir aqui. Empurrar. O distrito de Lázaro.
This is nothing like I remember it.
How quickly a crown can lose its luster.
Not abandoned then.
Oi! Visitors!
Apologies. We'll show ourselves out.
Vocês querem brigar, né? Ninguém avisou vocês a não brigar, não? Mas vocês roubam tudo, né? Já era. Ih, fácil demais. Uma multidãozinha dessa. Um bando de ladrões. Você acha que vai me derrotar? Um dominante de 4 poderes diferentes?
I've only ever seen one man fight like that. And he's long dead.
Then perhaps it's time you joined him.
The blessing of the Phoenix. It can't be. I was there when you died. Forgive me, my lord. I knew not whom I addressed. You have naught to fear from us. Founder, it really is you.
It is. So wait.
We can speak inside.
And those who wouldn't bend the knee?
We left before the Empire could make examples of us, though we didn't go far. And we banded together to form the Guardians of the Flame soon after. Alas, there is only so much a handful of aging shields can do against the might of an empire. But we've seen to it that their stay has been anything but pleasant. Of late, though, we've had our hands full just trying to keep the Duchy's few remaining bearers out of the Imperial's clutches.
The Cullings. We saw what happened in Old Hill.
Aye. The foul work of the Black Shields and their mistress.
You mean my mother? But it doesn't make sense. Even knowing what I know about her. Her hatred for bearers was no secret, but she wouldn't have been ignorant of their value to the realm.
No offense, my lord. But in case you haven't noticed, the Lady Annabella couldn't care less about the realm. She barely even cares for her own home. That much has been plain since the slaughter at Eastpool. And, since granting the Holy Emperor a new heir, her obsession with bearers only seems to have grown. As to why, I don't know. Maybe she can't bear the thought of anyone having the power to challenge her beloved son.
Her son.
Sir Wade, the Black Shields have broken camp. They march in full force for Buick Bridge.
Then so do we.
Make ready.
This is their main host. If we remove the head, perhaps we can prevent what happened at the docks from happening somewhere else. If I do nothing, then the blood of their next victims will be on my hands.
Yours and ours. We too have witnessed the crimes these men who dare call themselves shields have committed in my mother's name. It cannot be allowed to continue. We must put a stop to this madness.
We must. So let us go with you. For the good of Rosaria.
I was hoping you'd say that. Very well. If that is your wish, I would be honored to serve at your side.
And we at yours.
So, Wade, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
I imagine this endeavor will require more than just our wits.
Eu lembro
And let's
dele,
hope Sir
velho.
Wade has a good quartermaster.
Cara, eu lembro do Sr. Wade. É tipo assim, o outro amigo dele morreu. Eu lembro que a gente teve nossa primeira ordem junto, eu e ele. Caraca, caramba, mano. Ele ficou forte e cresceu, virou um líder de bandidos, né? Que é os guardiões da chama, do fogo, algo assim.
I suppose we owe you our thanks. You spared us when you could have just as easily sent us to the mud.
Agora a gente tem uns novos aliados, e aliados fortes, hein? São aliados fortes. Que bom que o Sr. Wade, ele tava vivo, mano. Eu pensava assim, cadê ele, né? A gente achou ele.
Tell us then, Sir Wade. What is your plan?
Nothing fancy. You, Lady Jill and I make for Buick Bridge and provoke the main host at their encampment. Sensing an opportunity to end the Guardians, the Black Shields will call for reinforcements, who will be met from the rear by parties of my brothers hidden throughout the surrounding hills. This will allow us to wage battle on the bridge without fear of being overwhelmed. While the Black Shields have an advantage in numbers, you see, they prefer to fight in small units, which we can use to our advantage.
How small exactly?
Small enough, now that I have you and Lady Jill for company. I doubt I could have done this on my own.
But until we arrived, that was your plan. You haven't changed a bit.
So Wade, the bearers from Old Hill have been laid to rest.
Very good. Now make ready for battle.
As you command.
Thank you, Sir Wade. Perhaps now they will find peace.
There is but one thing which will grant them peace. Putting an end to the Black Shields.
And so we shall.
Membros do grupo. Durante a missão principal, companheiros diferentes dispostos a ajudar poderão viajar com o Clive, porém, dependendo do destino, eles podem preferir permanecer no esconderijo. Ok. Agora seu Wade, ele vai nos acompanhar. Que a dádiva da Fênix acompanha com vocês também.
How long have you been pursuing the Black Shields?
Since they burned their first village, we tracked down the bastards responsible and fed their corpses to Stillwind. Suffice to say, that got their attention. It's been a game of cat and mouse ever since.
Aí, peguei velocidade. Cuidado que o homem tá rápido. Não, dá licença. Tô passando.
Come along now. The bastards are lucky I did.
There they are. On your command, my lord.
Bom, atacar então.
What is it now? I told you!
We bear a message for the Vicereine. From the Guardians of the Flame.
Ha! You presume to tell us that a pair of filthy vagabonds, a woman and a dog, could guard aught against the might of the Black Shields? Then come! Die along with your flame! For Rosaria!
For Rosaria!
Your petty revolution
Vocês acham que vai derrubar a gente? Vocês nem estão aguentando. Quem é o próximo? O último disparo.
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
Oh, meu Deus! Já era. Ah! Aceração! Já era. Dispara relâmpago. Tempestade. Ataque. Ataque de estaca. Esquiva. Contra-ataque. Ignição. Transformação. Disparo de fogo. Impulso. Já era. E
A
lá.
noble stand, albeit a misguided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point. That this land is in dire need of cleansing.
Vambora, vem. De mim. Eu já enfrentei muitos cavaleiros assim. E agora, hein? Tempestade! Laceração! Ciclone! Calma. Espera. Beleza. Disparo é relâmpago. Tempestade. Bate-staca.
So wait.
Transformação.
There's no one left to keep them occupied. We need to finish this.
We finish him.
Deixa comigo, o grandão fica pra mim. Vocês cuidam dos pequenos. Ser ação. Clone. Esquiva. Vai, estaca. Disparo relâmpago. Tempestade. Ignição. Já era. Falei, vocês não são páreos contra Mr. Clive Rosfield. Cara, o que tá acontecendo comigo?
I don't see any more.
Nor do I. The plan worked.
It did. It bloody worked. We sent every last one of the rotten bastards straight to the mud! Lord, perhaps this will be enough to stop the Cullings. For the time being, at least.
Perhaps. Though I doubt my mother will take this loss well. She'll move swiftly to see her minions' ranks replenished.
And then it will all begin again. I often wonder if the nation we once knew is gone for good. Her fields rot. Her people starve. We battled to preserve the flame that was, but for every foe we fell, another springs up in its place. Yet be that as it may, it is still our home, and we must fight for it. As we always have, and always will. For as long as the Firebird's flame burns in our hearts, the Duchy cannot die. And her loyal subjects may dream of a day when the Rosarian standard flies over Rosalith once more.
So wait,
Think we should fall back to Port Isolde before the garrison sends reinforcements? A sound strategy, my lord.
Ai, ai. Missão cumprida. Vamos embora daqui, com licença. Escudo e chama.
And how long has my uncle been funding you and your comrades' endeavors?
Since the beginning. Lord Byron was the first person I turned to after forming the Guardians. And had I known of this tunnel back then, I wouldn't almost have been hanged by the city guard for trying to sneak over the wall.
I suppose a formal request for an audience would have appeared suspicious.
And appearances must be maintained. Were the Vice-Regency to catch wind of Lord Byron's involvement in our movement, they'd seize his estate and send him to the gallows, where he would be of no use to anyone. And so, though it sickens him to the soul, he plays the part of the loyal lord, knowing that one wrong move might prove his downfall. It is why he remains ever vigilant. Don't be surprised if he refuses you an audience, especially since you're famously dead.
Then I will have to think of a way to prove that I am neither wraith nor wrongdoer.
I might have something which could help with the latter. It's the mark of the Guardians. Display it, and those who love Rosaria will know where your loyalties lie.
I shall wear it with pride.
Be sure that you do. I don't want my men attacking you again. Unless you deserve it. If only Sir Tyler could have been here to see you. Or the Lord Commander.
Thank you, Sir Wade. If there is ever anything you need.
I know. Go on now, my lord.
How accommodating. Do you really think they believe we are who we say we are?
Not a chance. Right, I guess. My uncle believes we're imposters here to rob him. And means to string us up himself.
Imagine my surprise when I was told my nephew had come to visit. Clive Rosfield died long ago. And for uttering his name here, you shall pay with your tongue! You would mock me as well?
It is I, Sir Crandall of Camelot, loyal servant to her serene holiness, Saint Sybil the Unshod. Meadow, thou vile sorcerer, for thy crimes against church and crown, I shall have thy head.
Curse thee, infectious flax wench. Even in death, must thou plague me still? Very well. I shall open the gates of hell, that thou might see thy charge once more.
Bravo, Uncle. You're still the finest Meadow in the twins.
Oh, Clive, my dear boy, it's really you. You always were fond of that scene from The Saint of the Sanctuary. Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
I have a favor to ask, Uncle Byron.
Rutherford, inform the kitchens. There'll be guests. We dine immediately.
But, Uncle...
You can't very well regale me with the tale of your miraculous preservation on an empty stomach. Go on, sit. See that you use the good plates, Rutherford. So you arrived late to one of her cullings, did you? Since becoming Vicereine, Annabella has been a constant thorn in Rosaria's side, but these atrocities are a new low. Something has changed. Quite what, I don't know, but the woman we knew is gone, and a monster sits in her place.
A monster?
For better or worse, I've been charged with governing this town, and thus must maintain the illusion of obedience. That's all I can do to aid Wade and his merry band of revolutionaries.
So he's told us. You have risked much for Rosaria. Our nation will be forever in your debt.
It has been 20 years, Clive. The nation your father and your forefathers fought to defend is no more. Perhaps it would be otherwise had I the courage of my brother. All right, if it's a ship you require, a ship you shall have. I have a galley in port, but recently relieved of her cargo. She can be outfitted for the voyage in a matter of weeks.
So you believe us then? About everything?
Believe you? Ha! Only a fool would believe even half of the things you claim. But until tonight, only a fool would have believed my nephew still lived. And besides, I have it on good authority that Clive is telling the truth.
Whose authority?
On your own, of course. You've always been a terrible liar.
Is that true?
It's not untrue.
Let's say no more about it, eh? It wouldn't do to linger on my nephew's greatest failing. The one thing I cannot believe, though, is all this about you being Sid. You were always such a good boy, but now you're quite the outlaw. Which, if I'm not mistaken, would make me an outlaw's uncle. Right then, who shall we pillage first? Rutherford, fetch me my cutlass. This will be fun.
Nossa senhora. Pessoal, eu vou parar aqui. Pessoal, eu vou parar aqui esse episódio, tá? Eu vou dar continuidade a esse episódio pro próximo episódio, tá bom? Senão vai estender muito e tal. Então, gente, eu vejo vocês no próximo episódio, beleza? Se você gostou desse vídeo, não esquece de você vir aqui dar o like, tá bom? Se inscreve no canal se você for novo por aqui. E também ativa o sininho para você receber novidades e vídeos novos aqui no canal, beleza? Cara, eu não sei. É uma bipolaridade que eu falo dessa luz aqui, ó. Ficou pálido, ficou laranja. Ficou pálido, ficou laranja. Eu não tenho controle disso, cara. Eu tenho que ficar parado. Aqui está em harmonia. Eu não posso ficar assim. Ou assim. Que coisa, mano. Bom, tá bom, né? É isso. Vejo vocês no próximo episódio. Então tenham um bom dia, uma boa tarde e uma boa noite. Valeu, falou e tchau, galera. Fique bem.